if you are woke, if you are a social justice warrior, if you have the right credentials that justify your upbringing, if you have institutional bona fides that come from your parents, you get to create the narrative and you get a hall pass. And everybody else basically is at the subject and the mercy of the mainstream media. And so if you don't kiss the ring and bow down to them, they will try to destroy you or run you out of town. But if you are one of them, they will give you a hall pass. And when it's time for them to change their mind in order to tell the truth, they won't do it.
As some time has now passed, in regards of the fall of Sam Bankman-Fried's empire, we can now look in detail what really happened and who is in charge or partly in charge of this whole mess, besides the CEO. In today's episode, the All In podcast members get in a heated debate whether the media or the CEO of Binance was partly responsible for the fall of FTX and what actions led to the fall of one of the biggest crypto exchanges in the world. The exchange was not new in any kind of sense. We all knew it, but media, as Chamath states, tried to look the other way. The damage that FTX caused is unprecedented, and now what we can only do is to unravel this whole mess and figure out who actually is responsible for leaving this company in the shadows as more and more money was being used illegally. Now we will take you to the All In podcast clip, but before we do this, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. It helps us a lot. Now sit back, relax, and let's see what they have to say.
The problem that I think this allows us to put a fine point on is the following. In society, we've confused a lot of people to think that the opposite of liberal is conservative or Republican. And I think that's the cycle that drives the mind virus inside the mainstream media. The problem is the opposite of liberal is illiberal, okay? And what illiberal means is to be narrow-minded and unenlightened. It means to be puritanical. It means to be fundamentalist. And this is really what it allows us to see now. We have now had 6 years of data, case after case after case, where if you are woke, if you are a social justice warrior, if you have the right credentials that justify your upbringing, if you have institutional bona fides that come from your parents, you get to create the narrative and you get a hall pass. And everybody else basically is at the subject and the mercy of the mainstream media. And so if you don't kiss the ring and bow down to them, they will try to destroy you or run you out of town. But if you are one of them, they will give you a hall pass. And when it's time for them to change their mind in order to tell the truth, they won't do it. And so these types of grifts will continue, as Friedberg said, because there is no check and balance without a healthy, independent media. There is no way for all of us to actually know what's really going on. Guys, some person in the media could have asked the question and dug in deeper around the connections between Alameda and FTX for the last 24 months.
So could have diligence at a venture firm.
At no point could any person have asked these questions and found ex-employees and said, are there any unseemly connections here between FTX and Alameda? There was no disgruntled employee. I mean, every company has disgruntled employee whistleblowers. But here, where there was billions of dollars being made by tens of people, not a single person who felt on the outs said anything.
Well, he was also giving millions of dollars to press outlets.
Hold on. It's because the questions weren't asked, and then this kid paid hush money to the mainstream media.
Let me ask a question of you guys. Do you think that it's the media's responsibility in this context, or do you think that there should have been a regulatory authority that had oversight of this business like there is for every bank and every trading operation in the United States? And every one of those businesses has a compliance officer and has regulators up the wazoo, making sure that customers are kept safe and protected. Or do we think that should offshore vehicles be allowed like this that allow people to operate?
It's a reasonable question, but there was a chicken and egg question. We were all standing around holding our hands while the CFTC and the SEC were fighting. That's not something that consumers can be expected to adjudicate. So yes, we should have legislation that clearly defines all of this, but there were enough parameters that created regulatory frameworks where a bunch of good actors did operate in them and are continuing to do so, like Coinbase. So I don't think this is a regulatory issue. I think that if you believe there are people who are supposed to forensically examine things and get to the bottom of things and ask hard questions, those people did none of that here. And what's even more worrisome is what they're showing is now with a massive amount of data that shows that you could ask hard questions, they don't care to because it makes them look bad.
I disagree with this, Chamath. I think regulators failed here because they have been reactive to crypto. They have not been proactive, and they have not been clear with the crypto community that what they were doing was illegal, and they should have put the regulations in quicker, and they're playing catch up. But all three groups failed. The media failed, the regulators failed, and VCs failed. Capital allocators failed, apparently, to do diligence here and install proper governance. You cannot put a company like this, in business with
Jason,
billions of dollars and have no board of directors.
No, I agree with you.
Or he lied to them, which
is
possible.
My point is that while regulators are basically fighting a territorial turf war,
yes.
Okay, the media could have still done their job. They chose not to.
Guys, it was worse than that, because not only, it's not just a case where the SEC failed to exercise any oversight of him or dig into any of these questions. He was in the room with them crafting the next set of regulations. He was working on the regulations that you're talking about that are supposedly needed.
While breaking them.
They let the fox in the hen house.
Yeah.
He was going to craft a new type of regulatory license for these types of exchanges, with the result that he was going to get one and some of his competitors weren't. This was one of the things that triggered CZ to basically, do what he did, which is basically that SBF was trying to get Binance and competitors like that banned, while SBF would be one of the sole people to get the license.
By the way, Jason, here's an example.
He was working with the regulators.
Yeah, Jason, you just said something derogatory towards CZ. He rug pulled them. Did he do that, or did he actually expose the fraud?
That's what I mean by rug pulling, yeah. He was partners with him.
That's not what rug pull means, Jason.
Okay, well, he was partners with him, and then he realized he was weak and that he was doing some stuff that was shady, and he decided he would eliminate a partner who was creating regulation, as Sachs said. Whatever you want to say, he knifed him.
All he did was indicate a desire to liquidate his position in a token that was supposedly perfectly liquid. And that's basically, that caused everything to unravel.
Yeah, but these were partners, right? I mean, these were deep business partners.
But
they were partners. They were collaborating on these tokens together. So they weren't competitors.
No, they were not, Jason. Like, part of the big loan that initiated all of this stuff like a year and a half ago was to buy FTX off the cap table. So, this, all I'm saying is, like, you used words in your framing of a guy, who's built a business, is like, he is this nefarious bad actor.
Binance was FTX's first investor.
Hold on a second. But David's right. All the guy did, as far as we can tell right now, is tweet, I'm selling this token because I don't believe in the capital structure of this entity. And he got those tokens by being bought out of the cap table.
I know. He was partners with them. So if you don't like rug pulled, how about backstab?
No,
These were business partners.
No, they're not partners.
No, you still don't understand, Jason.
Of course I understand. He was the first investor. So to do this to a company you were investing
out. No, exactly.
He then got bought out. And
part of the consideration,
part of the consideration were these tokens, these FTT tokens.
Yes.
Jason, when Uber went public,
yes,
and you got distributed stock,
yeah,
did you distribute and sell Uber at any point?
Previous to that, I sold some to Masa.
No. I'm asking you a question. When Uber went public and you got distributed from Uber,
I didn't. No.
Your stock. So you've never sold a single share of Uber
Not since it's public. No, I sold it before in private markets.
Okay, yeah, but I'm sorry, but that doesn't make Jason a partner of Uber. You're just a stockholder.
Yeah.
This is slightly different, I think. But okay, fine. You guys, if you guys want to consider...
he was
the first investor in the company.
That might have been a historical situation, but their status at the time that CZ tweeted was that they were competitors.
Okay, fine. I mean, they became competitors. I agree.
And by the way, to Chamath's point about this rug pulling language, I think we're getting kind of down a rabbit hole here.
Yeah, we're getting down the weeds here. But
what CZ did perform a service in this sense. Okay, SBF claims that $4 billion more was about to come in. I personally don't believe that. Sounds like bullshit to me. But if it is true, that would have been a bad thing. The more money that came in to that operation, SBF proved that he was a very poor custodian of customer funds.
For sure.
They're being siphoned off for his own use.
I'm not defending SBF. But
the longer this went on...
I'm just highlighting the language that you use is sort of like, again, part of that establishment elite narrative. And I'm just questioning, you should maybe steelman, take a second to just steelman a more dispassionate view, which is, here's a counterparty, who, when he left the cap table, was given half cash, half tokens.
Okay.
And he decided to sell his tokens.
Yeah, and tweet it publicly and cause a run on the bank. So
it was not a run on the bank. There was no bank. Where's the bank? This run on the bank language, okay, is something, this was in the semaphore coverage, okay?
He did it publicly. That's my point. So I'll steel man it for you.
No.
Hey, these tokens are worthless. I need to liquidate them as fast as possible. But why would you do that publicly? Why wouldn't you do it privately?
Because you're about to move the market.
He wanted to move the market to zero.
No, he's
yes,
about
he wanted
to move the market. He's letting people know why.
But he wanted to kill his competitor, as Chamath was just saying.
If you want to see the full interview, check All in Podcast channel in YouTube or click the link in description below. That's it for today. Do you agree that the media and CEO of Binance is partially responsible for the fall of SBF's empire? Leave your thoughts down below in the comment section. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for more crypto updates. This was Investalence, and we'll see you in another video.